topic of the day is your Q3 plan. Your personal brand starts with you. And why am I talking about this today? Well, it's the 1st of July, and oh my God, where have the last 6 months gone? Unbelievable, seriously. So it might be that, right, we're slowly, for most of us, coming out slowly out of the global pandemic, of lockdown. Some of you might even be returning to the office or already be back in the office maybe a few days a week. So, you know, having had other commitments, priorities, challenges over the last 15 to 18 months, it might be the case that now we're coming back into a semblance of normality, and you're starting to ask yourself, okay, so what am I doing when it comes to my career and my job? Am I happy with where I'm at, what I'm doing? You know, you might have taken your foot off the gas because you've had to focus on other things, whether it's homeschooling, taking care of a family, of relatives, you know, looking out for friends and neighbors. So all of these other things have taken precedence, have taken priority. And it might be also working remotely, being in a lockdown situation, work-wise, has meant that you've not been able to do what you would normally have done to move your career forward, to continue progressing. So what is that for you? Let me know in the comments, and let me know if this resonates, if this is something you might be thinking about. And what I want you to consider is, over the next 90 days, what is it that you want to accomplish? What is it you want to achieve when it comes to your career, to moving forward, the progress that you are making? Okay, so first of all, personal branding. I've shared with you a little bit about what it is, why it's important. And here's the thing, most personal brand experts talk about social presence. They talk about your online reputation, your social media profile, and your connections, your online community, what you're posting, how often you post, the likes, your followers, all of those kinds of things. Now, don't get me wrong, absolutely, this is important. Why? Because when it comes to recruiters and hiring managers, searching for their ideal candidates to fill the next role, that is what they're going to see. When they put your name in Google or they go onto LinkedIn, for example, that's the information they're going to see about you. So that has got to be top notch. It's got to be at your best. It's got to position you well for your next opportunity. And you want to position yourself in a way that those opportunities come to you. So people are reaching out and maybe suggesting opportunities for you rather than you having to go chasing after them. Okay, so that's where the social presence aspect is really, really important. Dr. Rohini Devi, hello there. Thank you for hopping on. Great to see you here. Let me know if this resonates, if this is useful for you. And if you have any questions, pop them in the comments. And also let me know where you're watching from today, Rohini. So when I talk about personal branding, I'm not so much focused on the social presence aspect. I focus on you, because my belief is that your personal brand starts with you. What do I mean by that? Well, anyone, let's be honest, anyone can create, can write an amazing online profile and create a good online presence, or can pay someone to do that for you or to help you with it. You know, whether it's your profile, the copy that you're writing, the images that you're putting up there. And it's like the wider social media. We all know, we've all talked about it. We've heard people talk about the fact that a lot of people share all the greatness that is going on in their lives, everything that's going well, their successes, how they're living this amazing, happy, joyful life. And not so many people share the challenges, the struggles, their vulnerabilities, or maybe what's really going on. And that's okay. It's not mandatory that you should share that. You need to be comfortable to be able to do that. But the point I'm making here is that what we see online is not always completely the real thing. Even I've had situations where friends I've maybe not seen for a while, and I've seen their posts and everything looks great, looks amazing. And yet when I meet them, it's a completely different story. They've got their own personal challenges, as we all have. There's all that stuff that is going on in the background that we don't necessarily make public. Okay, so it's just a contrast, an example of social media and social presence and the impact of that. So when I talk about branding, it's about how you are showing up. So for example, if a recruiter or hiring manager comes across your profile and thinks, wow, you'd be an amazing fit for this opportunity that they're looking at, that they're looking to fill, and then they meet you in person. My question to you is this: how aligned is your social presence, your online profile, with the real you? Is that completely congruent when you meet someone, whether it's on a video call, on the phone, or in person? Are people going to get the same impression of you? They're going to feel aligned with the person they read about on, let's say, your LinkedIn profile. Give that some thought. And this is where I believe that personal branding starts with, it's about how you are showing up. Because ultimately, when people meet you, when they work with you, they want to know that what they read, what they saw online is congruent, is an authentic with the real you. Which means that you want to be showing up as the best version of you, to leverage, in other words, your human potential. Does this make sense? Let me know. Drop a hello in the comments if you've just hopped on, and ask me any questions. Give me some likes, some hearts, some love, and share with me what your plans are for the next 90 days when it comes to your personal brand. What is your area of focus? We are halfway through the year, as I said, and I don't know where the last 6 months has gone. It was Christmas the other day, and now we're on the 1st of July. So what is your Q3 plan when it comes to either creating or refining your personal brand, your human potential? So really working on yourself so you can show up as the best version of you, which in turn will propel you forward, both in your life and in your career. In other words, what I want to share with you today are 6 things, 6 areas that I believe are important for you to either refine, to develop, to create, to hone, to master, whatever it is for you, depending on what stage you're at with your branding, that will have you showing up as your best self, which means that you'll leave a memorable, lasting impression with people in any interaction. You'll likely have them gravitate towards you in the future, wanting to be in your network, in your space, reaching out to help you, to give you advice, to talk about opportunities. All of those things that will propel your career forward are things that will happen for you once you've nailed down your brand. So these are the 6 things that I wanted to share with you first. The first one is your brand identity. And these are the foundations for who you truly are. So it starts with why. And I'm sure you've heard this talked about before, but what is your why for what you do, what you do? And, why do you get up in the morning? Why are you in the role that you have? Why are you looking to progress your career, to advance yourself in your career? You want to be really clear about that. Why? Because if you're not, and you achieve the success that you think you want, and find yourself feeling unfulfilled, maybe empty, and thinking, what was that all for? Because I don't feel any different. So you want to be really clear, or get clear on what it is you want, but why, more importantly, why it is you want that. What is that going to do for you? How's it going to make you feel? What needs is it going to fulfill for you? So these are things to consider. You want to think about what you're passionate about. The amount of people I hear say, when I say, oh, why have you followed that career, or why are you doing that kind of role? It's because it says, well, I've got bills to pay. And I think to myself, that is such a sad situation. Why? Because we spend hours, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, even more in some cases, working. So why would you wish your time away doing something simply to earn the money to pay the bills when you could find something that you actually enjoy? And I'm not talking about necessarily chucking it all in and pursuing your favorite hobby. Yet there will be aspects of roles that you've done in the past that you have really loved versus aspects of it that you really don't enjoy. So spend some time looking at that and think, what are things that where time flies by, and I didn't even notice I spent a whole day on this project because I was so engrossed in it, and I came away feeling really fulfilled. Think about the things that really light you up, that energize you when it comes to the work that you do, And then look at ways to create more of that in your role or in the next role that you're looking for. Think about your priorities, what's important to you. And that is evolving. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, many people will have had different priorities, different areas of focus over the last 18 months because of the pandemic and the challenges it brought for everyone, whether it was remote working, whether it was homeschooling, taking care of loved ones, all of those things that might have had the priorities around your career dropped, and that's okay. That is absolutely fine. So how important is it for you to move forward in your career, to move up the ladder, and why? So what are the priorities for you right now? Now we're slowly coming out of a pandemic. What's important for you? A lot of people now are actually shifting their priorities, what's important to them. Having been at home for so long, spending time with family, they're now looking for more of a work-life balance. Whatever it is for you personally, it might be you're desperate to get back into the office because you're feeling, you've been remote for so long, you want that personal contact again. So what are the priorities? What's important for you? And how can you start to wind that into the next 90 days of your career as you move forward? And think about your values. I said earlier about personal branding, and a part of that is getting clear on who you are, what you stand for, what you want to be known for. So what do you stand for? What are your values that are non-negotiable? These are all the aspects of your brand identity. So you see, this isn't only about what you put out on social media. This is about getting clear on you and who you are, how you want to be showing up, and also spending time understanding how others perceive you right now, because oftentimes there's a gap between how you think people see you or how you see yourself versus how other people see you. So what is that? What does that look like? And are you happy with that? Or are there things that you want people to recognize in you or to know you for that they're not aware of just yet? And therefore, what is it you need to do differently to have them recognizing that? What can you influence? What is it you can change? So think about all of these things and what is it you can start working on and putting a plan in place for over the next 90 days. The second thing is your mindset and your confidence. A lot of people I hear talk about it, and even people who you perceive to be really confident in the workplace. I have clients who are, they're senior, they're extremely experienced, successful, and yet they still lack some amount of confidence in the workplace in different areas. So why is that? Look at your mindset. What can you do, and how can you develop an optimal mindset? What do I mean by that? This is a huge area. A couple of core things that I would always talk about that you want to be aware of is developing your own self-awareness. That's your awareness of yourself, the thoughts that you're having, the impact of those thoughts on your life, the way that you're showing up, the thoughts that impact your results, because everything we think, ultimately, there's a process, but ultimately creates the experiences that we have, the results that we have. That's in life and in work. So what are you doing to focus on things that are going to serve you best, that are going to give you a better outcome? And how are you developing your self-awareness, both of yourself, but also of people and circumstances around you? What's the way that you approach things or that you look at things? Is it in a positive or a negative way? Are you always looking at the worst case scenario and what could go wrong? Or do you stop and say, well, what could go well? What risks am I prepared to take? Because, hey, this might work out better than I even imagined. The mindset is key. And for me, once you've gotten clear on your brand identity, your mindset is the next most important thing, because this is the one area that if you don't nail it, is the biggest thing that can hold you back from moving forward in your career and in your life. Because we can all have strategies and techniques and best practices. If we haven't nailed our mindset and the self-awareness, that's the biggest thing that can hold you back. So think about what is it you can do to really work on honing that. The third thing is presence. I love this. And this is about the way that you show up, because when we talk about confidence, particularly, a lot of people think it's about how you speak, how you come across. And of course, that plays a big part. But did you know that communication is more than 90% non-verbal, which means that we create impressions for people around us before we've even uttered a word. It's about the non-verbal communication, for example, the body language, the eye contact, whether you're smiling, the gestures, all of those kinds of things. So when it comes to your presence, what can you do even better to show up and exude that confidence to create impact, whether you're showing up on a Teams or a Zoom call or you're returning back to work? Building that self-awareness, where we talk about mindset, being aware of how you're showing up, the way that you carry yourself, the first impressions that people get of you when they meet you. When you walk into the office, what are people thinking? How are you carrying yourself makes a huge difference to the energy of what you attract towards you, but also of what you exude out to people and the impression they are forming of you. So what can you do to hone and to develop your presence to make a bigger impact? Number 3 is communication. So the 7% of communication, which is the way we speak, what we say, how we say it, and the way we communicate. And this can be on this, first of all, it can be one-to-one or one-to-many. It can be on the phone, it can be on video calls like Teams and Zoom, and it can be face-to-face. And it can be in various situations. So it could be in a one-to-one meeting. It could be, it could be with someone in your team, a team member. It could be with your manager. It could be a meeting with multiple people where you're speaking up there. Maybe you're presenting or you're pitching to a prospective client. So there's so many ways you'll find yourself communicating. What can you do to do that even better, to improve, to make what you're saying even more engaging so people want to listen to you? They want to hear what you have to say, and they're not just switching off and maybe scrolling through their phones or thinking about what they're doing this evening or the football or, spending time with family, but they're really focused on you because of your level of engagement that you create for people, the way you deliver your messaging, what you're sharing has people wanting to gravitate towards you. So think about that. What is it you can work on there to make that even better? And then number 5 is relationships. And if you've joined me before one of my lives, you'd have heard me talking at length about relationships, about networking and the power of your network, of the people that you have around you. And I've worked over the last few months with a few clients who have been in the job market. They've been looking for their next role and hadn't really given a lot of thought to the fact that actually by leveraging their network, even people they've worked with maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago, and just reaching out and getting back in touch could create opportunities for them. So that's why, if you're thinking, well, why am I talking about relationships when it comes to personal branding? Because that is part of your personal brand. Your personal brand, when we talk about you, comprises of all of these things I'm sharing with you today. It's not only about your LinkedIn profile. It's not only about your social presence and about what you're posting. It is about you as an individual, your human potential, the impression that you leave for people, the feeling that you create for them, and how they remember you. And a part of that is your network. So surrounding yourself with sponsors, with advocates, people who've got your back, who shout your praises, who will have you top of mind, so that when an opportunity comes up, they will happily recommend you or refer you or think of you. Think about half year or year end when there's that the bonus pot or the little bucket of money for salary increases, and what happens then? People have to sit and review that and make a decision of where they're going to allocate that money. And you want to think about, okay, so when that happens, you want to be top of mind for those people who are making those decisions. You also want to be top of mind for the people who are recruiting, the people who are promoting. So what is it you can do to ensure that you are top of mind for those people, that they will come to you, they will reach out to you, and that you're not having to constantly be chasing? So relationships, cultivating your relationships and always looking to grow your network is really important, and making it very diverse. Not just, for example, if you're in sales, or if you're an accountant, or if you're in HR, that you only mix with those people. You want to broaden it outside of that. whether it's across your organization or maybe even wider across your industry. And that can make all the difference when it comes to you looking to advance your career. And believe me, people love to help. People love to support. And you see a lot of this on LinkedIn. People will reach out and ask for help, and people are more than happy to. And a great way to do this and make it even more effective is to build that circle of influence around you. So what can you do over the next 90 days to really work on that, particularly if you're looking to move up to the next level, to secure a new role, whatever it might be for you? That's something you really want to think about. And then finally, your personal leadership. And ultimately, that's bringing all of this together that we've spoken about today and thinking, right, okay, so once I've nailed all of these areas, I've mastered them, I'm showing up as my best self. Now it's about personal leadership. It's about leading you, having the ability to influence your own outcomes, as well as being able to support and bring others up with you and having other people see you as a leader. And I'm not talking about a job title. You could be at any stage of your career and still be perceived as a leader. You have leadership qualities. And a part of that comes from honing a strong personal brand. So do let me know if this makes sense. Let me know which aspect you're going to be focusing on over the next 90 days to work on, to develop, to improve upon, so that it'll support you towards advancing your career. It'll get you maybe more noticed, more visible, more heard, have you feeling more confident, whether it's when you're just showing up at work or whether you're presenting, depending on whatever the role it is that you have and the responsibilities that you have. So let me know if this makes sense. Share with me in the comments. Say hello if you've just joined. If you're watching a replay, #replay. And I'll just recap on this today. So we've been talking about your personal brand, starting with you. Remember, it's not only about your social online presence and what your LinkedIn profile says. You want to ensure that when people call you about a role, when they meet you, be it on video conferencing or in person, that the impression they have of you from your, let's say, your LinkedIn profile is completely aligned, it's completely congruent to the way that you come across when they speak to you. And some of the things you can do as a recap to think about over the next 90 days, I'd love for you to share with me, share in the comments what you're going to focus on, what you're going to work on over the next 90 days. These are things to think about. Number one is your brand identity. So clarity on who you are, what you stand for, what you want to be known for, and thinking about your values, your purpose, your why, what you're passionate about, ensuring that you're doing things that light you up, that energize you. You're not spending hours and hours of your working life doing something simply to pay the bills, but you're miserable because you don't have to do that. Secondly is mindset and confidence. Looking at the fact that actually you have more control than you realize, and you're not a result of your circumstance, but actually your mindset, the thoughts that you have can directly influence the opportunities that you create, the results that you have, your performance at work, all of those great things. So what can you do to start really developing and honing your mindset, and also your confidence in the way that you show up, the way that you come across? Because think about it. Who do you more likely gravitate towards? Is it people who have confidence, who exude confidence, or those that don't? Who are you more likely to hire for a new role? Someone who has that confidence, or someone who's lacking that self-belief and holds themselves back? So think about how you want to be coming across so that you can create those opportunities for you. And number three was presence. So with presence, again, it's about how you carry yourself, how you show up. So the non-verbal communication, which is huge because people are already assessing you, they're judging, they're creating an impression, they're forming an impression of you before you've said anything. So how are you showing up that's creating a really impactful impression for other people? And what can you do differently? Number four is communicate. So how are you communicating, whether, as I said, one-to-one, one-to-many, on or offline? What's the context of it? How can you be even more engaging? How can you have people wanting to hear you speak, wanting to hear more of what you've got to say, simply because of the way that you're coming across? And how can you hone that and work on that to be even better? And then number 5 is relationships. So think about your existing network. What can you do to grow that? Who are your supporters? Who are your advocates? Who are the people who've got your back? And who are the people who really matter, the decision makers, let's say in your workplace? Do they even know who you are? Do they know about the value that you're bringing? Do they know about your successes, that great piece of work, that project that you completed? How are you conveying that to them? Build those relationships. Make sure that people know who you are and what you're about. And then finally, personal leadership. So what can you do to enhance your own personal leadership so you can influence your own life, your career, your outcomes even more, and also be seen as a leader for those around you? So that is my share for today. As I said, it's the 1st of July. It's the start of a new quarter. We're halfway through 2021. And you might be thinking, okay, now that things are opening up, maybe you're heading back into the office, you're able to focus less on possibly homeschooling or taking care of loved ones through the pandemic, and now things are easing a little bit, and your focus has moved towards your career a little bit more. Where are you right now? So on a scale of 0 to 10, where are you right now? How, if 0 is it's terrible and 10 is it's phenomenal, where are you right now? Share in the comments and let me know. And what is that gap? What is it that needs to happen for you to get to a 10? And then let me know as well, once you've watched this, if you're watching it on replay, and if you're still here, Rohini, thank you very much. Taking back good info, thank you. You're most welcome, Rohini. Glad it has been helpful. Do come back and share with me, whether it's here or privately. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were and what actions you're going to be taking. And so finally, I think it's really about thinking, where do you want to go? If we get to Christmas and nothing has changed for you in your job, in your career, how's that going to make you feel? What will have been the cost to you of not doing anything now, of starting to take action? We can take small steps, small action to just move forward gradually. It's those baby steps consistently that get us to where we want to be. So rather than putting it off, what can you do today? What can you can commit to over the next 90 days? So when I check in with you here, either on a weekly basis or in 3 months' time, you can say to me, actually, this is what I took away from today. This is what I'm going to be doing. This is what I'm going to be implementing. And this is where I've gotten to. This is what has changed for me. So it's important to understand where you want to get to. What are the gaps at the moment that's preventing you from getting there? And what is it you can work on and develop and hone to enable you to get there? And if you're still sitting there listening, thinking, I really don't know what to do, then click on the link in the comments and grab a copy of the playbook. It's absolutely free, and it will share more in depth about these 6 areas I've talked with you about today. It will give you an opportunity for a personal brand self-assessment, so you can understand where your biggest challenges are, where the gaps are, so you get clarity on what you can focus on right now. And it also shares some best practices, some strategies, some tasks for you to go and carry out to help you to start refining or to building and creating your personal brand. So do click on the link in the comments and grab your copy of that. And if you have any other questions, pop them here in the comments, message me directly. I'll be more than happy to help you. And if you'd like to have a call with me to understand and explore how I work, and if you think working with me will help to get to where you want to be, then just reach out and we can arrange a call. I'm happy to chat to you and see how I can help you to propel yourself forward in your career. Thank you for watching. Great to see you here today. If you have any questions, do reach out. And until next time, I'll see you same time, same place next week, 12:30 UK time here on LinkedIn and Facebook. Until next time, remember to build your influence, to make an impact, and to be remembered for all of the right reasons by showing up as the best version of you. And thank you, Dr. Rohini Devi, for staying on, and I look forward to hearing from you too. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.